Hello, I'm Rachel, but please call me Rach. I just found out today that my uncle is in fact a well-known murderer. I'm also the youngest niece. I give you full permission to take a video about this. I knew my uncle was a bit off when I was little, and if I asked my mother or another family member on my father's side, then they'd just say, Ted did some really bad things before you were born, so you're not allowed to be alone with him. That all changed when I turned 13 on April 7th. A while after I turned 13, I suddenly brought up the topic of Ted, and my mother was a bit more comfortable to tell me that he indeed killed 2 people. He killed a man and a nurse. I was surprised my mother went into more detail, but I could tell she still wasn't comfortable going into full detail of what Ted did, and honestly, I couldn't blame her for it. She even told me that after her and my father got divorced due to him cheating on her and not being a good father, that my father, his name is James, told Ted to stalk me and my older sister and my mother, and he did. The neighbors caught Ted watching us in their backyard and police were called. One time he even left a death threat on my mother's vehicle after not getting him some Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or something like that. After Ted moved out, my mother changed all the locks on the old house and refused to let him in. She even said me and my sis were not allowed to be alone with Ted and my mother and father's divorce papers. Then today, on September 19th of 2021, my mother was finally comfortable enough to tell me everything. Ted Mayer, my uncle, has killed a very rich and well-known nurse in a fire along with another nurse. He was trying to be the hero, but he ended up killing them instead. My mother told me that he planned all this out for a few years, and then in 1999, he carried out the plan. It even says this in an article about Ted Mayer. It goes like this. Theodore Ted Mayer is an ex-Green Beret turned registered nurse who was convicted of arson in a 1999 fire that killed Edmund Safra and another nurse, Vivian Tarrant, at Safra's Monaco penthouse apartment. In October 2007, Mayer was released after serving 8 years in jail. There was also an article about one of his victims that said this. Edmund J. Safra was a Lebanese-Brazilian banker who continued the family tradition of banking in Brazil and Switzerland. He was married to Lily Watkins from 1976 until his death. He died in a fire that attracted wide media interest and was judicially determined to be due to arson. After I looked up who is Ted Mayer, then I learned about what he really did. It explains a lot of why he gave off an extremely odd feeling, why he wasn't allowed to be unsupervised or left alone around children, and why he's no longer allowed to come to family gatherings. The reason why I want to share this post is to warn people about my uncle, who is known as Ted or as Ted Mayer to many. Please stay away from this man. Don't make eye contact with him and don't ever welcome this man into your life. He's very dangerous and is willing to commit another crime like the one he committed in France. I can only just imagine what he would do to me if I was alone with him and no one was around, and I'm just thankful my mother had me and my older sister's back.